Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be focusing on something that even some really good English speakers sometimes struggle with, and that is pronunciation. You know, you can know all the right words, but if you don't know how to say them, well...
Yeah, it makes a big difference. It's kind of like, we were talking earlier about music, right? It's like you've got the sheet music, you've got all the notes, but you need to know how to actually play it, like a virtuoso. So that's what we're going to be looking at today, is how to really sound like a native speaker.
I love that. So I keep hearing this term, connected speech. Is that where we should start? What even is that?
Yeah, it's really important. And basically what it means is that spoken English isn't like reading aloud.
Yeah.
Words blend together, sounds change, and it's all about the flow.
Okay, so is that why when I hear fast talkers sometimes it sounds like a totally different language?
Exactly. But there's a system to it. Like, take a simple phrase, like, what are you going to do? A native speaker, they'll probably say something like, what are you going to do?
Right.
Sounds faster, but it's just more efficient pronunciation.
So it's not about being fast, it's about connecting the sounds, right? What are some other examples of this?
Oh, there's so many. Like, I'm going to becomes I'm going-na, or give me becomes gimme. It's all about just kind of like, saving effort, but still being understood. And it's what makes you sound, really fluent.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like playing all the notes on the piano individually versus letting the melody just flow.
Yes.
So connected speech is like the legato of pronunciation.
Exactly. And just like music has rhythm, right? English has rhythm too. And the rhythm is created by which words we stress.
Okay.
The source mentions this idea of English being stress-timed, but what does that really mean for someone who is learning English?
Well, I know that if I stress the wrong word, I can completely change what I mean, or I just sound weird.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just about emphasis. It's about actually like giving information. Think about the sentence. The sea hat is sitting on the mat. That's how we'd naturally say it. We stress the content words. Right. Now try saying it with every word stressed equally.
The sea cat is sitting in the mat.
It sounds strange, right?
Yeah, I sound like a robot.
Exactly. Like you're reading like a shopping list, the rhythm is completely gone. So getting those stress patterns right is really important for both understanding and being understood, especially, when sentences get longer.
Wow. So we've got connected speech to make things smooth. We've got stress to give it meaning. It's like we're building a whole symphony here of good pronunciation. What else do native speakers do that we should know about?
Well, you're not going to believe this, but they actually sometimes cheat.
What?
Not really, but it can feel that way. They reduce or sometimes even drop certain sounds completely.
Like mumbling. Is that allowed?
It's not exactly mumbling, it's more like streamlining, I guess. The source gives a couple of good examples, like want to often becomes wanna, going to becomes gonna. Again, it's all about like efficiency, just how people really talk.
So this isn't just laziness, this is like...
No, it's standard. Absolutely. It's just part of how the language evolved. And even individual sounds, like the T in the word butter, often ends up sounding more like a D to someone with a trained ear.
So if I start dropping all my T's and saying wanna all the time, I'm going to sound like I'm from, I don't know, London or something.
Not quite. It's, you don't want to overdo it.
Right.
It's about kind of gradually integrating these things.
Got it.
But being aware of them helps you understand fast speech.
This is blowing my mind. I feel like I'm finally getting the code to how English actually works. But we haven't even talked about intonation yet.
Oh, right. Intonation. That's where things get really interesting. It's not just what you say, but how you say it. And, the source mentions that intonation can actually change the entire meaning of a sentence, even if the words are the same.
Oh, yeah, totally. Like if I say I'm going to the store, just like that, that's just information. But if I say I'm going to the store with that rising tone, that's a question.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It adds a whole other layer of meaning, emotion, doubt, emphasis, all of that. It's like the punctuation of spoken English, but way more subtle.
Okay, I'm convinced. Intonation is key. But how do we learn it? Is there like a rule book? When does my voice go up? When does it go down?
I wish there was.
Yes.
But the best way to learn it is just to immerse yourself, Listen to how native speakers use it. Watch movies, listen to podcasts. You can even, eavesdrop on conversations, just, not in a creepy way.
Right, of course.
And just try to develop that intuition.
So it's more about absorbing the music of it than memorizing rules.
Yeah.
This is exciting, but it's also kind of scary. Like I'm learning to speak all over again, but like on a deeper level this time.
It is. But we've got some tools to help you with that. Have you ever heard of the shadowing technique?
Shadowing? That sounds cool. Is that like mimicking someone in the shadows?
Yeah, you're on the right track. It's basically listening to a native speaker and trying to imitate them, in real time. You're not just repeating the words, you're trying to match their pronunciation, their rhythm, their intonation, everything.
Whoa, that sounds intense. But I bet it's super effective, right? Like you're really absorbing their speech.
Exactly. It's like a workout for your, for your English muscle memory. And it helps you really internalize those sounds, those rhythms.
Okay, I'm sold. I want to try shadowing. So how do we get started?
Well, we'll get into the specifics a little later. But the key is to pick something short, like, a 30-second clip or a minute long, something with clear pronunciation, maybe something you enjoy listening to. And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about the process. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes.
This is fantastic. I am so ready to take my English to the next level. This deep dive has really opened my eyes to all these hidden pathways of spoken English.
I'm glad to hear that. And the best part is, this is only the beginning. In our next segment, we're going to go even deeper into specific techniques and exercises that you can use to put all this knowledge into practice. So stay tuned. Welcome back. I'm excited to really get into some practical techniques that you can use to start improving your pronunciation. You ready to roll up your sleeves and get to work?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm ready to put all this knowledge into practice. So where do we begin?
Let's go back to connected speech for a second. We talked about how words kind of flow together, but there's actually a term for this: liaison. And it's really the glue that holds spoken English together.
Liaison. That sounds kind of like a spy movie or something. Can you explain what that is?
Sure. Think of it as like a smooth transition between sounds at the edges of words. One common type is called a consonant to vowel liaison. So like the phrase "take it easy" becomes more like "take it easy." So that K sound connects right to the I, and it creates this like smooth flow.
So it's not take.ie.easy with all those breaks. It's just like one smooth sound.
Exactly. And then we have vowel to vowel liaisons, where we often add like a W or a Y sound to bridge the gap. So go away becomes go away, and I also becomes I also.
Whoa, I never even noticed that. These liaisons, they really do make a big difference. I mean, just those tiny little changes make your English sound so much more natural.
Absolutely. And the best way to master these is really just listening carefully, paying attention to how native speakers connect their words, and trying to, imitate those patterns.
I'm taking notes. Before we move on, though, I'm curious about something. We talked about reducing sounds earlier, but are there any specific sounds that, get reduced more than others?
Yes. The schwa sound is, it's like the king of reduction. It's represented by an upside-down E in phonetic transcription, and it's actually the most common vowel sound in English. Yeah. And it often replaces other vowels in unstressed syllables.
Schwa. I think I remember learning about that way back when. Can you give me an example?
Sure. So take the word about.
Okay.
The stressed syllable is bout, but the unstressed A, that's pronounced as a schwa. It's like a very short, very neutral sound.
Okay.
You hear it in words like banana, computer, amazing. It's everywhere.
Wow, I hear it now. It's like a chameleon just blending in.
It is. And mastering that sound, that schwa sound, is really key to having a natural English accent.
This is amazing. It's like we're peeling back all these layers of English and uncovering all these hidden secrets.
Yeah.
You've been talking about shadowing, and it sounds really powerful, but I got to admit, I'm still a little intimidated by it.
I get it. It can seem daunting, but, remember, it's a process. It's not about being perfect right away.
Okay.
Start by choosing something short, like we said, maybe a 30-second clip or a minute long.
Okay, small steps.
Yeah. And listen to it a few times without shadowing. Just get a feel for the content, the speaker's rhythm, the overall flow.
So I'm kind of getting my ears ready for the workout.
Exactly. Then, next time you listen, start repeating along with the speaker, but really softly. Just try to match their pace, their intonation.
Okay, so it's not about speed. It's about syncing up with them.
That's it. You're dancing together. And then as you get more comfortable, increase your volume. Really try to embody the speaker's delivery. Imagine yourself becoming that speaker.
Whoa, I love that.
Yeah.
Like pronunciation acting or something.
Yeah. Exactly. Don't be afraid to, have fun with it. It's not about being perfect. It's about progress. And every time you do this, you're training your brain and your mouth to produce those sounds more naturally.
Awesome. Okay, I'm ready to give it a try. Any other exercises we can add to our pronunciation arsenal here?
Of course, minimal pairs are another great way to like really fine-tune your ear and your pronunciation.
Minimal pairs. Those are, remind me what those are again. I feel like I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're pairs of words that only differ by one sound, like ship and sheep, or rice and lice.
Right. Okay.
The challenge is being able to hear and then say that tiny little difference.
Right. But how can minimal pairs help at an advanced level?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm, past that basic stuff.
Well, even at an advanced level, there might be some subtle sound distinctions that you haven't quite mastered yet. And minimal pairs help you, focus on those tricky sounds.
Got it. So it's like we're really targeting those specific sounds that need some work. Okay, I like that. So how do we practice with minimal pairs?
Well, you can find lots of resources online, or you can just make your own.
Yeah.
Just pick a few minimal pairs that you find difficult, and then record yourself saying each word clearly.
Okay.
Listen back and see if you can hear the difference.
Yeah.
And then practice saying the words out loud and really focus on making that distinct sound.
Great. So we've got shadowing for overall fluency. We've got minimal pairs for focusing on specific sounds. This is great. Any other tips for like supercharging our learning?
Yeah. Here's a bonus tip. Record yourself speaking English regularly.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be anything special. Just, like a casual conversation or reading a passage from a book or something.
Okay, and then listen back. I always feel a little weird listening to my own voice.
I know, me too. But trust me, it's really helpful. It's like having a mirror for your pronunciation.
Okay.
You can hear where you're doing well and, maybe where you need to work a little harder.
Okay, so what should I be listening for specifically?
Pay attention to all the things we've been talking about. Connected speech, rhythm, stress, sound reduction, intonation. Are you connecting your words smoothly? Are you stressing the right syllables? Does your intonation sound natural and expressive?
This is amazing. It's like putting together a puzzle. The more I practice all these things, the more it makes sense.
Exactly. And remember, mastering pronunciation, it's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
Just keep practicing, experimenting, and most importantly, have fun with it.
This has been so helpful. I feel like I've got a whole new understanding of how English works, and I'm excited to put all these techniques to the test. What else can we add to our pronunciation toolkit?
There's so much more out there, but for now, let's shift gears a bit and focus on some specific exercises and strategies that you can use to really put all of this knowledge into action. Ready for part 3?
All right, part 3, I'm ready. My pronunciation toolbox is wide open, ready for some practical exercises.
Well, you've already mentioned one of the best tools we have, shattering. It's like having a personal pronunciation coach right there with you.
True, but I feel like I need some more specific advice on how to actually do it well. I mean, I get the idea, but putting it into practice is another thing.
Right. Okay, so let's break it down. First, you want to choose a short audio clip, maybe just 30 seconds to a minute long, something with really clear, engaging speech, and, something you actually like listening to.
Got it. Short and sweet, then what?
Listen to it a few times without shadowing. Just get a feel for the content, the rhythm, the speaker's style, kind of the overall flow.
Okay, so like getting my ears ready for the workout.
Exactly. And then next time you listen, start repeating along with the speaker, but softly at first. Try to match their pace, their intonation.
So it's not about speed, it's more about like synchronizing with them.
Yes. Like you're dancing together. And as you get more comfortable, increase the volume a little bit. Really try to like embody the way the speaker is talking.
Oh, I like that, like pronunciation acting.
Exactly. Have fun with it, Don't worry about being perfect. It's all about progress. Every time you shadow, you're training your brain, your mouth, your muscles to produce those sounds naturally.
Okay. I'm feeling ready to try it. Any other exercises we can try?
Oh, definitely. Minimal pairs are really useful for fine-tuning your ear and your pronunciation.
Minimal pairs. Those are, remind me what those are again. I feel like I learned about them a long time ago.
Yeah, they're pairs of words that are only different by one sound, like ship and sheep or rice and lice. And the challenge is being able to hear that difference and say it correctly.
Right, okay. But do minimal pairs really help at an advanced level?
Even at an advanced level, there might be some subtle sound differences that you haven't quite mastered yet. Yeah. And minimal pairs help you really zoom in on those.
Got it. So we're targeting specific sounds. Okay, I like that. How do we practice with them?
Well, you can find a lot of resources online, or, you can even just make your own lists. Just pick a few pairs that you find difficult, and then record yourself saying each word clearly.
Okay.
Listen back, see if you can hear the difference, and then practice saying those words out loud, really focusing on making that specific sound.
Great. So we've got shadowing for overall fluency. We've got minimal pairs for these specific sounds. This is great. Any other tips to speed up our learning?
Yeah, actually, here's a bonus tip. Record yourself speaking English regularly. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a conversation or reading something out loud.
Okay, and then listen back to it. I have to admit, I kind of hate hearing my own voice.
Yeah, I know, me too. But it's really helpful. It's like a mirror, for your pronunciation. You can hear where you're doing well and maybe where you need a little more practice.
Okay, so what exactly should I be listening for?
Listen for all the things we've talked about today. Connected speech, rhythm, stress, sound reduction, intonation. Are you connecting your words smoothly? Are you stressing the right syllables? Does your intonation sound natural?
This is great. It's like putting together a puzzle. The more I practice, the more it all starts to make sense.
Exactly. And remember, this whole thing, it's a journey. It's not about reaching some kind of finish line. Just keep practicing, experimenting, and, most importantly, have fun with it.
This deep dive has been so helpful. I feel like I understand how English works on a whole new level, and I can't wait to put all this into practice. Thank you so much for guiding us through all of this. It's been fascinating.
My pleasure. And to all of you listening, remember, the world is really your oyster when you can communicate clearly and confidently in English. So keep practicing, keep exploring, and never stop enjoying this amazing language.
Until next time on The Deep Dive, happy practicing.
Thank you for joining us today on English Learning Podcast. I want to congratulate you for taking the time to improve your English. Every step counts, so keep moving forward and don't stop. If you enjoyed this content and want to learn more, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button so we can keep creating videos like this. Let us know in the comments what level of English you're at and what topics you'd like us to cover in the next episode. Also, check out the links in the description for additional resources to help you keep advancing. See you in the next video. And remember, English Learning Podcast is here to help you reach your English goals. Keep learning.